Welcome to the Carolina Beat, everyone. I'm Troy Thompson. Joining me in the studio today is Dr. Alex Thomas, and he, of course, is from Atlantic Neurosurgical and Spine Specialist. Welcome to the show, my
Troy,
friend.
good to see you again.
Okay, we're talking about concussions.
Sure.
Sports, it happens. Explain to everyone at home what an actual concussion is.
Sure. It's kind of one of those words that everybody hears all the time and they think they know what it is, but maybe they don't have a good definition. So basically, it's just a post-traumatic alteration in your neurological function. Right?
Okay.
So after you get a blow to a head, you have neurological symptoms. They're transient, okay? So that means they're eventually going to get better. It can be a lot of different things. It can be confusion. Of course, everybody knows about losing consciousness, but you don't have to have that. Only about 5% of people do. Confusion, dizziness, balance disturbances. So it can be a lot of different things after trauma.
Well, and the most important thing that we need to talk about is if you do hit your head falling or playing sports or something along those lines, is concussion something, an immediate effect, or is it something in several hours?
It doesn't have to be, yes. So there's a tremendous amount of variation, but usually the symptoms are apparent right away. And so to take sports, for example, if you get a blow to a head in a game, like a football game, for example, the first thing they're going to do is take you out of the game.
Right.
And that's not something that's just suggested. That's actually a law. So they take you out of the game and they do an assessment. And nowadays, that assessment can just be done like on an iPad on the sideline. And they're testing a couple different things. Your memory, your balance, a lot of different neurological symptoms to make an assessment, whether or not you have one.
Okay, if this happens at home, because we're not all playing sports, but we may fall over and we hit our head quite severely, or not so severely, but may have a form of concussion. Tell our audience at home, what are some of the symptoms that they might experience?
Well, first of all, if you fall and hit your head at home and lose consciousness, you got to go to the ER right away. Okay, so if you don't lose consciousness and you have a family member with you, they're going, if there's any difference in the way you're acting, you should certainly be evaluated. And again, if there's any question, just go see your family physician, because the symptoms can be quite subtle.
Really? I found out just recently that one of the #1 causes of concussion, you wouldn't believe it, what sport it is, soccer.
That's right.
Who would ever have thought?
That's right. So a lot of people think football is the issue, and it's certainly the most publicized and well known, and it is a problem in football. But yeah, if you look at some of the NCAA data, women's soccer, one of the most common.
I was blown away when I was told that, but then I started thinking, well, hold on, they're hitting those balls with their heads and going crazy with it, and I mean crazy as in doing such an amazing job. It's bound to happen eventually.
Right, sure, and then people are running by each other, they strike each other, and of course they don't have helmets.
They don't have the gear that the football players do. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, I think it's super important, the treatment options.
Right.
If you have concussion.
So the first thing you do, they remove you from play. Like I said, that's a law. It started as Zach's Law in Washington State after a young kid who had a severe brain injury. There's a law here in North Carolina called the Gefeller-Waller Act, published in 2013, went into law in 2013, I think. You have to be removed from play, and if you have a concussion, no play for 7 days. You have to.
Wow.
Yeah, because lots of times, usually after 7 days, the changes in your brain have resolved, so that it's safe to play again.
Very quickly, repeated concussions.
Right. So there's immediate dreaded ones. If you get a blow to the head again, you could have devastating neurological injuries. So that's why the 7 days out of play. Long term, everybody now knows about this diagnosis of CTE.
Yes.
First diagnosed in Mike Webster, in an autopsy in Mike Webster in 2012. It's very well publicized now in the NFL. So there's short term and long term. There's still some discussion about CTE. They think maybe long term cognitive defects like Alzheimer's, but certainly there are dangers.
Manage. We appreciate you, Doctor.
Anytime.
Thank you for coming in. If you want to find out more about Atlantic Neurosurgical and Spine Specialist, Dr. Alex Thomas himself, there it all is up on the screen. We'll be back after this short break.